so today I'm going to show you how to replace these telescope stops. And there's a couple different stops in here, and as you can see, this one is broken right there. See that gap? And there's already a fantastic video on YouTube on how to replace the chain, so we're not really going to cover that, but we're going to try to zoom in on these stops because quite often these are broke or aged and worn down, and you kind of want to replace those while you're in there anyway. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first step is to remove the sail panel, and that way we can access the chains and we can access the screws for the back of those telescope stops. These are the screws right here. They're directly opposite of the stops. So once you remove the sail panel, you can access these two Phillips head screws. So I'll go ahead and take those out. And then, just like removing the chains, I'm going to drill out the 3 rivets on the top. Alright, so I've taken out the 2 Phillips head screws, and I've drilled out the 3 rivets to the top. Now we're going to go outside. So we're outside now, and we've already dropped the gearbox from the bottom on this side. I've already replaced the chain on the other side. Now, like the other chain video on YouTube, we're just going to pull this down. It's kind of stuck. Now, just like the chain video, we're going to shove this down inside of there. And we're going to take out these, I don't know, they call them guides or something like that. I'm replacing those, so I just throw those away. Take those out. Now that's going to let us pull this out, which is directly attached to the chain. It's a little stuck. Now, most of the time you're supposed to tie a piece of wire to the end of the chain and drag a rag behind it when you're pulling this out. But I've got another method I use. I built kind of a snake that I can pass through there multiple times instead of just one time, and it's a lot easier than messing with this chain, so I'm just going to use that. Alright, so we pull that out. So now we've got our chain out, and we still have this piece right here. And how this works is you need to shove it down into the hole there, and we've already got the screws off the back side. They were the ones we took off right there. And so this will pull directly out. You can see I'm wiggling it. There's always sealant right here on the inside edge right here, and that'll be holding it sometimes. And the reason for that sealant is, if you can see this edge right here, this kind of acts like a gutter, and then you've got this part that's cut out, so the water will run out here, and it's supposed to come out here. And just in case it's like a angle or something like that, they put sealant right on this corner and down here so that the water will flow out here instead of going down through your lift system. So when you put that back into place, you definitely want to put some sealant there. So I'll go ahead and pull that out. And what you do is you push these buttons on the back side and you lift up at the same time. Broke it. Have to use a screwdriver on it maybe. There we go. So there's our old telescope stop, and it's definitely seen better days, and that's why we're replacing it. If you're doing chains, it's definitely a good idea to replace these anyway. I mean, you're already in there, you might as well just do it. Okay, with that telescope stop out of the way, now we can pull this up. I've got a hooked pick here. I'm just gonna go ahead and hook that hole right there. Pull that out. And at the bottom are the rest of the stops that would stop it from coming up normally if that other piece was in place. We'll whip that out. There we go. There's the last 2 stops, and they're just pressed on there. They just pop right off. that, like that. So I'm gonna wipe this down with a rag. If you can tell, this is super dirty, a lot of residue and stuff on there, and I'm gonna wipe that down before I put the new stops on it. Alright, so I've cleaned up the top of this and I've scraped off the sealant with a putty knife, and what I did then was I cleaned off this arm as well, and I put the new stops on the end. They just clip right on there. And now you take this and you put it back in. You can see it, like, it'll get caught up, like right there. It's getting caught between its channel and the stops. So that's something to watch for. You can usually push it in with a screwdriver or something like that. You just need it in there enough to get it started. And once you get it started, you just kind of wiggle it around, push it down. Alright, now for the other piece of our telescope stop. We got a brand new one here. Wiggle that on. And I like to slide the arm up through it and pull the arm up quite a bit. Not all the way though, because you still need this to go down to where it needs to go. And you see these, they got the round portions on the back that snap into the aluminum. Those kind of create a little bit of a problem. And that's why I have this part of the telescope so far up, is because I can get a little more leverage on it when it's up that far. And we're just going to try to coax that past the hinge there. Alright, so what I've done is I placed my palm here and I pushed in as much as I could. Well, not as much as I could, but you know, with enough force so that I could get the bottom past this aluminum lip right here. And at the same time, that moved the aluminum hinge over enough to where those round things could get started on it as well. And I'm just going to do the same thing and kind of push it down again until I can get the round things past that hinge. So I've got the round things just past the edge on that hinge there, so that they can start sliding now. They're not, the edge of them isn't caught on the edge of the hinge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this punch and a hammer, and I'm going to put the punch here and tap it a little bit, and then go to the other side and tap it as well a little bit. Now if any time this stops, you need to stop as well and check to make sure that the telescope stop isn't hitting something such as this edge down here. That's very important because you don't want to break your brand new telescope stop. You just alternate from side to side, going a little bit at a time, because you want to keep it fairly straight. And if it stops, you definitely need to stop to make sure you're not hitting anything. Right now I'm touching the edge right here. So just got to pass that edge. Use a screwdriver to move it over just a little bit to get it started in there. Now I'm hitting this edge over here. You can see it through if you look from the back side. What I've been using is a nylon wedge. This came out of a Slim Jim kit, but I'm sure you can make one of these out of a piece of wood or a piece of plastic. You just put that in there. You drive it in just far enough so that you can clear the edge of the aluminum. It's just kind of slow and steady. Work side to side. Let me go ahead and take my wedge out. I don't need it anymore. Alright, so I've got this almost all the way in. And before I finish it up, I want to put some silicone in there. Now I'm sure there's many different adhesives you can use. It just needs to be weather and water resistant, and I'm sure it'll work fine. Alright, so I've laid some of that in there. Going ahead, seat it all the way down. You can hear it just popped in. The round things went into the holes in the side of the camper. Now that you've got that in, it's basically the same as the other video on Facebook where they take and replace the chains. So I'm not going to go any further from here. This was the goal of my video, was to show you how to replace these. And to finish up, I'm just going to put the Phillips head screws in the back there and reinstall the chains. I hope this video helps you guys out, and happy camping.